Globalization and its impacts. Globalization means the world is more connected through trade, technology, culture, and communication. One benefit of globalization is it increases economic growth. For example, it can create jobs. Let's use Amazon. Amazon has warehouses, which actually creates jobs and helps trades, which increases our economic growth. Not only does it benefit our economic growth, but it actually benefits our cultural exchange. We can use food as an example. Foods come from different cultures such as pizza and tacos, which have become very worldwide. A BBC article states we are a single species sharing a single planet. This shows how cultural exchange brings us together, whether it's by food, by music, whatever it is, it shows how it brings us together by cultural exchange. On the other hand, globalization can have its negative effects, as it can lead to labor exploitation. This is because companies often seek cheaper production costs, and that can result in poor working conditions, long hours, and low wages for workers. For example, in most industries like manufacturing, workers are often taken advantage of despite their hard work. Furthermore, globalization can also be harmful to the world as it increases the risk of disease spreading because of global trade and travel. An example I can use is COVID-19. COVID-19 was a worldwide virus, and the movement of people and goods actually made it a lot easier for the virus to spread. To follow up on this, an article from the National Institutes of Health states the rapid growth of tourism and business trips and the longer distance taken by people make the spread of COVID-19. From an economic standpoint, it can be detrimental to job displacement, as many industries don't treat their workers right. It can lead to employees quitting their jobs, and that has several effects on the economic world. According to a Miami Herald article, it states implacable economic forces such as automation and globalization have eliminated good-paying factory jobs in the United States. From a technological standpoint, globalization helps spread technology and knowledge, benefiting health and education. The provision and politics of aid. This is support in the form of food, money, or healthcare provided to those in need. This is mainly given by governments. The provision of aid helps decrease poverty by giving us services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure, and this, of course, improves our living conditions. For example, we can use education. Educational programs are supported by aid, and they allow children and adults to gain skills and secure better jobs, and this, of course, breaks the cycle of poverty. According to an NPR article, it states that if a child is low income, they experience about 13% point increase in the likelihood of graduating from high school because of increasing school spending by about 10%. Aid also provides direct care to people in crises by giving immediate relief during emergencies, either if it's a natural disaster, pandemic, or if it has to do with your healthcare. This is a really good thing because even though people are displaced, they are still getting treated fairly like other people would. On the other hand, provision of aid can increase dependency among civilians. This is because when aid is provided continuously for a very long time, people become reliant on the government and they don't seek opportunities for development of their self. This shows how people can become reliant on these programs and not even do work, and that's very negative from an economic stance. This is because it can disrupt local markets and economies. And when they lower prices for these low-income people, it can make it difficult for local producers and businesses to compete. And again, that's not good for an economic viewpoint. From a medical standpoint, aid helps save lives, improve healthcare, and stop the spread of disease. This makes low-income people healthier. Based on an article from Science Direct, a study demonstrates that foreign aid and health spending have a significant beneficial impact on the health quality of South Asia. Human rights. Human rights are the basic freedom and protections everyone deserves, like equality, life, and freedom from discrimination. They impact our society, technology, and culture in significant ways. Human rights increase diversity, equality, and they promote empowerment. It allows people from different backgrounds to be treated fairly instead of unfairly because of their race, gender, or beliefs. When diversity is embraced, communities become more innovative, accepting, and united. According to an article by the United Nations in Sri Lanka, it states, "Let us place justice, equality, dignity, and human rights for all front and center of our efforts to build a better tomorrow." This just talks about how human rights allow us to be treated equally and for everyone to become more united. However, human rights can lead to cultural tension, as they arise when traditional values are seen as threatened by human rights principles, such as gender inequality or freedom of speech, leading to debates and disagreements. Human rights can also lead to conflict or violence when governments or groups impose rights that are opposed by others. This can result in protests or violent confrontations. According to a Santa Clara University article, it states, for example, in many countries, Islam is interpreted to restrict the rights of women. Is it disrespectful of their cultures and religion to find these Islamic countries in violation of international human rights standards because of their treatment of women? These issues are at heart of a long-standing controversy between the concepts of universality of human rights and cultural relativism. This article just showed how cultural and human rights clash together. So, from a cultural stance, human rights can lead to tensions. Because of the enforcement of human rights, they can sometimes be challenging to cultural practices, and this can cause conflict. Human rights can also be seen from a socialist perspective because they promote diversity and equality by ensuring everyone has the same opportunities regardless of background, race, or gender. Based on a Miami Herald article, it discusses the importance of human rights promoting diversity, equality, and inclusion. Population and migration. Population is the total number of people in an area, while migration is the movement of people from one place to another. Migration also strengthens global connections because people from different places come together, they share cultures, ideas, and values, and this creates a more connected community. Migration helps fill job gaps. As people move, they often take on roles in industries that need workers. This helps businesses. According to the Center for Immigration Studies article, it states, immigrants also provide important labor to our economy in many fields. On the contrary, high population growth and migration can cause strain on resources, like housing, healthcare, and schools, and of course, it makes it harder for everyone to access this. Another concern of high population growth and migration is the environmental impact it has. Rapid population growth can lead to pollution or the overuse of land, and this harms our mother nature. According to an immigration reform article, it talks about how mass immigration is adding to the pressures on Florida's environment. It also says how population growth exacerbates urban sprawl, and these endanger species and strains on the Everglades. From an environmental perspective, population growth and migration can be harmful to the planet. Urban expansion leads to deforestation and loss of biodiversity. From an economic stance, population growth and migration boost development by filling labor gaps. Migrants help by taking jobs, starting businesses, and paying taxes, which helps economic growth. Based on a Miami-Dade report, it explains how immigrants make up over 73% of Miami-Dade business owners, generating more than $2.9 billion in business income. Education. Education is a process of learning and acquiring knowledge, skills, values, and habits through teaching, study, or experience. Education increases knowledge and skills, which helps individuals navigate the world more effectively. By gaining knowledge in areas of core classes, it can help understand and solve problems more efficiently. Education also strengthens career opportunities. If individuals learn higher levels of education, it tends to let them have better jobs, higher salaries. A BBC News article states careers education given to pupils in secondary school can be linked to higher earnings in adult life, according to researchers. However, education can be detrimental to mental health. When students get academically pressured, it can cause stress, anxiety, and burnout. And that defeats the purpose of education. The Washington Post article talks about how the impact of academic pressure on students affects mental health. It was reported that high-achieving schools are now considered at risk due to excessive stress from academic and leading to higher rates of anxiety, depression, and education can also sometimes teach irrelevant material. This means students are going to learn stuff that they won't need to use in the real world. For example, how are kids going to learn how to do their taxes? They should be learning that in school. From a psychological perspective, education increases knowledge and skills, and this leads to improving the cognitive development. In the part of the brain, it helps form new connections, helps problem solving, memory, and critical thinking skills. From a financial perspective, education can be expensive. The higher the education you go, the more expensive it's going to be. Especially when it comes to going to college. Not most people can pay it off. According to a Miami Hurricane article, a student states, I would have to put up with every year, and with that comes high anxiety and inability for my family to financially plan my future. This explains how colleges can be a huge problem when it comes to money. Transport, travel, and tourism. Transport is the moving of people or goods, while travel is the act of journaling, and tourism is people taking vacations and visiting places of interest. Transport, travel, and tourism actually strengthen global trade. This is because it makes it easier to move products across borders. This helps countries grow their economies. They also increase jobs, creating jobs in hotels, airports, and restaurants. This is because certain communities, tourism is a key source of income. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, it states the national travel and tourism generated $1.9 trillion in economic output and supported 9.5 million American jobs. Even though transport, travel, and tourism can increase jobs, on the contrary, employment can become unstable. This is because many jobs are seasonal, depending on when tourists visit, and this can decrease their economic growth. Transport, travel, and tourism can also be detrimental to health because of pollution caused by cars or other sorts of transportation, and that can lead to respiratory issues. According to the World Health Organization, it states it increases health risks by shaping access to services and opportunities, physical activity levels, or exposure to air pollution. From a cultural perspective, transport, travel, and tourism allow people to experience different lifestyle traditions and beliefs, which promotes understandings and appreciations between different cultures. According to the Random Hair article, it states tours specifically featuring Art Deco architecture and history are still popular with tourists. From an environmental perspective, transport, travel, and tourism harm the environment through pollution. Tourists often make the environment worse by overcrowding natural sites, littering, and overusing local resources. Natural disasters, migration, and management. Natural disasters can cause serious harm to people and property. Migration involves actions taken to reduce long-term risk, and management focuses on how communities respond to and recover from disasters. Natural disasters, migration, and management reduce the loss of life. This is because they prepare people in advance, like building stronger buildings, setting up early warning systems like those little tornado ones, and creating like evacuation plans. Like based on a Associated Press article, it states such investments have brought down test totals. He said they do die, but the mortality is coming down compared to before. Management improves recovery time. This is by helping communities get back faster through organization aid, like political aid, rebuilding the buildings faster, and having support systems. However, they can often have limited amount of resources, especially in less developed areas, and this makes it harder to prepare for natural disasters. According to the Center for American Progress, it states that Miami-Dade and its surrounding counties are woefully unprepared for this inevitable effects of a changing climate, particularly in low-income areas. Another issue is displacement. Natural disasters can force people to leave their homes, and this can lead to overcrowding in shelters. From a social stance, natural disasters, migration, and management can also cause social strain when disasters lead to displacement or unequal access to aid due to income. Based on an NPR article, it states the trend also shows that wealthier residents with the resources to move away from disasters do so, while they leave behind a population that is disproportionately poor. From a political stance, it can build public trust and shows leadership. Surveillance and privacy. Surveillance involves monitoring individuals using various tools, and privacy is the right of individuals to control their personal information. To start off, surveillance can reduce crime rates. This is because since people know they are being watched, they will commit crimes less, and because it also helps law enforcement to catch criminals more quickly. According to Local 10 News, it credits and states, good police work coupled with new technologies as the success of a higher homicide arrest rate known as the clearance rate in 2023 and an overall decline in violent crimes. Surveillance and privacy can also benefit personal freedom by creating safer public spaces, and people don't have to worry about constant threats or danger or any personal information getting exposed. On the contrary, too much surveillance can invade privacy, making people feel like they have no space or freedom because they're always being watched or tracked. According to the American Civil Liberties Union, it states the government's collection of this sensitive information is itself an invasion of privacy. Personal information can also be exploited. This is because it can be stolen or misused, leading to things like identity theft or data breaches. This often happens in social media where people's accounts get hacked. From a social perspective, surveillance and privacy can improve safety in communities by decreasing criminal activity and making people feel more secure in public spaces. According to BriefCam, it states, once we begin thinking of the cameras around us, the agenda-less technology they are, filters of significant objects and activities rather than prying eyes, will both feel safer and more satisfied with the role video surveillance plays in our world. From a technological perspective, technology surveillance increases the risk of data breaches and misuse of personal information. Environmental concerns. Environmental concerns are the awareness and prioritizing of issues affecting the natural world. Addressing environmental concerns can improve health by reducing pollution and promoting cleaner air and water, which helps humans. Based on a Columbian University article, it states researchers reviewed 26 studies of health benefits of specific clean air or climate policies. Protecting this nature, it can also benefit climate stability by helping prevent extreme weather events, and this is useful for long-term survival. On the other hand, environmental issues can be harmful to people's jobs, particularly in industries that rely on the practices to damaging environment, like water companies or fossil fuel extraction. Environmental concerns can also be very expensive, so it increases costs, and this can strain economies, especially in regions with limited sources, and it will be higher prices for goods. According to an International Monetary Fund article, it talks about how environmental policies, high emission, reduces labor. From an economic perspective, environmental regulations or concerns may be expensive, especially for developing economies or smaller companies. This can obviously be seen in an environmental perspective, and helping the environment can obviously lead to healthier ecosystems, better air and water quality, and more sustainable use of the earth. Based on miamidade.gov, it states protecting natural resources helps reduce erosion, flooding, and contribute to clean air and water. Diet, health education, and healthcare. Diet, health education, and healthcare are all about taking care of your body, whether it's by learning how to take care of your body or staying healthy. Learning how to take care of your body improves overall health for people or even you. When people start to eat good meals, stay healthy, go to the gym more often, it avoids serious health problems and can last longer lifetime. According to the World Health Organization, it states consuming a healthy diet throughout the life course helps to prevent malnutrition in all its forms, as well as a range of non-communicable diseases and conditions. Taking care of your body also helps with the lower cost of healthcare. This is because when you start to eat healthy or when you start to, be more active, when you go to check up doctor's appointment, you won't have to worry about any treatments because your body is nice and healthy. However, one major issue that many people have an obstacle with is unequal access. Not everyone has access to having the money for healthy food because usually when you go to like Walmart or Publix, it's really expensive. According to NBC6 South Florida News, it says, we don't have much resources around us. We have a lot of corner stores which don't have a lot of healthy options there. This shows how not a lot of people have access to healthy foods. Another way diet, health, education, and healthcare can be negative is many people can misinterpret the information or be confused, and that's either with health advice and they won't have the proper guidance to lead them to those good diets, and it would just be a waste of time. From a psychological perspective, not being able to learn about having a healthy body or have what the needs are to have a healthy body, it can lead to a low self-esteem and people won't feel confident in themselves. According to the University of Alberta, it states children living in households with food insecurity have double the risk of low self-esteem compared to children who have good access to food. From a medical perspective, if people were to catch up on these factors of learning how to have a healthy body, it can help prevent diseases, or it can just lower their chance of dying of obesity. Literature. Literature refers to written works that have an important value, such as poetry, novels, or even plays. Literature can increase readers' emotional self-growth. This is usually because readers connect to the stories with their own experience and it gives them just a better understanding. Literature can also improve critical thinking, and this is usually because literature is usually difficult to comprehend and it challenges readers to analyze and try to figure out and understand what they're reading. According to Miami Wire, it states that students' understanding and appreciation of literature empowers critical thinking and analytical skills. However, literature can influence misinformation. This is because some readings present misleading facts, and this can shape readers into the wrong information instead of believing the right information. Based on Brook Edge Academy, it talks about how humans are easily influenced by things. So if someone were to come across a book, that they may believe that the view is morally correct, even though it isn't. Literature can also be overwhelmingly time-consuming, especially when readers are interested in long books or complicated books. It takes a lot of time to read it and understand it, and if somebody has a busy schedule, they don't have a lot of time to read it. From a cultural perspective, literature can mispresent certain groups, and this can limit a true understanding of historical culture. Based on the Publishing Post, it talks about how book covers can be biased toward other cultures using cultural stereotypes. From a social perspective, literature can help readers understand different social issues, and this can help them in the real world. Language. Language is the principal method of human communication, consisting of words used in structured and conventional ways. Knowing more than one language can strengthen college applications and give better chances for job opportunities too. Based on the European Union, it states being bilingual or multilingual can open up a whole new job market for you, and the whole article just talks about how you can stand out knowing more than one language. Knowing more than one language can also help people express themselves in new ways and understand different cultures better. Like some people express themselves better in Spanish or French than English. On the contrary, not knowing the same language as somebody else can make it hard to communicate, and that creates language barriers. Also, since this does create language barriers, this can lead to another con, which is not knowing another language can lead to exclusions and feeling like you can't talk to somebody. I mean, sometimes that happens with me. I don't know Spanish, and when my whole family knows Spanish, I can't communicate with them, and I kind of feel left out. It's like, damn, I want to talk to them, but I can't. According to a Miami Herald article, a mother states how she felt powerless not being able to say what she wanted to say and how she wanted to say it in the manner and the moment of what she wanted to say because of an incident that happened with her daughter. From an economic perspective, language barriers can limit job options. For example, if I were to apply for a job here in Hialeah, it would be really hard for me to find one if mainly the population only speaks Spanish. Language can obviously be seen as a cultural perspective because knowing different languages preserves cultures and helps people connect with other people. According to Harvard Library, it states that languages are more than just a way to communicate. People rely on language to connect to their culture and pass down histories, traditions, folk words, and songs. Advertising. Advertising is promoting products or ideas to an audience using different types of media. Advertising increases brand awareness, helping companies grow and reach more people. And they usually do this by promoting new products that they have that people might need. Based on the city media advertising, an article talks about how they campaign a lot of a sports brand, Fila, and they campaign in places where most people or tourists are at to get people's attention, and it helps increase their brand awareness. Following with that, it boosts the economy because advertising helps increase brand awareness and their sales, and that helps the business and it helps create jobs and that helps the economy. However, advertising ads can be misleading, and this is usually because advertising makes a product seem good, but they trick people and it's really not that good. According to the BBC article, it states adverts for sports giant Nike and broadcaster Sky have been banned for using tactics which could mislead customers into spending more than intended. Also, excessive advertising can make people feel just annoyed of the ad and they don't even want to do anything with the company. I mean, for example, I always hear this one T-Mobile ad and I don't even want to hear it anymore. I just don't want to hear it anymore. Wait, I actually don't know if it's a T-Mobile ad, but it's a certain ad. From a political stance, advertising can help influence public opinion on politics, as in promoting candidates or amendments. According to a Yale News article, it states that TV ads help candidates increase their name recognition among the public, which is extremely important. From a social perspective, advertising can have a lack of representation, and that can anger the society. Performing arts. The performing arts definition is kind of in the name, but it is a form of art in drama, music, or dance, and these are performed in front of audiences. Performing arts benefits people's expressions and emotions. It allows the artists to just have a really deep feeling and connection with what they're doing and express themselves in a way that they can't be judged. According to the Musical Theater Center, it states, when we have the courage to let our guard down and expose our true selves, we unlock a level of emotional depth and authenticity that can captivate our audience and leave a lasting impact. Performing arts strengthens career opportunities. It opens up a lot of doors for people, and for example, people can go to Broadway. Although performance arts strengthen career opportunities, another issue is the lack of payment. Not many performers get paid that well, especially when they are just side characters or background dancers. Performing arts can also lead to mental health strain. This is because performers usually are at rehearsal for a long time. They're getting pushed on pressure, and sometimes when they're into that character too much, it affects them mentally too. According to The Guardians, it states 2 studies, one focusing on actors and another on ballet dancers, showed depression to be twice as likely in performers than in the general population. From a psychological perspective, performing arts can lead to stress, anxiety, and burnout, as artists often struggle with maintaining their well-being. From a social perspective, performing arts has a very good impact on social connection. It brings people together either through performances, rehearsals, or just knowing somebody that also does performing arts. According to a Miami Herald article, it states the Adrian Arts Center has a long-standing commitment to connecting many parts of our community to the arts. Print and digital media. Print media is physical formats like newspapers, magazines, while digital media involves only things that you can access electronically, like websites or even social media platforms. This is because a physical copy increases the chances of it being more reliable. A physical copy is also more likely to have a lasting value and be preserved. Digital media is more affordable and accessible as it doesn't require printing costs, and it can easily be shared by just sending a text. According to NBC South Florida, it states younger buyers are drawn to affordability and sustainability. However, print media can be expensive to produce and purchase, and especially for the making needs of it. I mean, you have to cut down trees and all that stuff. And digital media increases the risk of misinformation. It is more likely for misleading content to happen, and once it's on there on the internet, it's most likely on there forever, and it's really hard to get rid of or forget about. According to The Guardian, it states more than 85% of people are worried about the impact of online disinformation. From an environmental perspective, print media requires paper and ink, and this contributes to population, while digital media is more eco-friendly. According to The Atlantic, it states that Paper is requiring 535 million trees per year and 12 billion gallons of oil. From an economic perspective, digital media is cheaper to produce and access, making it more affordable for consumers. But print media has a higher production cost, but it still creates jobs too.